What's up there, Cardfighters? Today I'm bringing you a special deck profile. Once again, it is Rorowa Premium. I took it to BCS Rosemont, as the title will say. I got 29th place out of 99 players, going 4-3. The deck performed really well. I got a lot of compliments, and I surprised a lot of my opponents with what the deck was doing. I know I have a Leonore deck profile in the works. It is still a very tricky deck for me to figure it out, but that should be coming sometime soon by the end of the month, hopefully. Other than that, let's get right into it. So for my grade zeros, I run 3 draw PGs, 8 crits, and 1 OT. This is a basic trigger lineup I'm going to be running with for a while. Gives you good offensive pressure with the new blue OT. It helps you grab any card in your drop zone to add back to your hand, so you can help recycle any cards that you have used or need key cards. The Dark Face crit is really good because of its new errata being 10k power, 15k shield. It also has the additional effect of when you damage check it, you draw a card. So it helps you get not only power, but helps you draw an additional card to stay alive on a defensive turn. Other than that, that's really it for the grade zeros. Let's go to grade 1s. For my grade 1s, I am running 3 Burrow Mushrooms, 3 High Class Moth, 2 Brilliant Blisters, 3 V Lilithorchis, 1 G Lilithorchis, and 1 Elementaria. Early offensive pressure, but since we're also in History Collection, it's an additional soul for Darkface's GB2 skill. I'm running 3 High Class Moths. It's just a very great card for Mech Colony. It's only consistent counter charge in the deck, along with putting a normal unit back into the deck, so you can maintain a deck count a little bit easier, even if it's only 1 card a turn. 2 Blisters. Blister's a great card. It's a great way to make your opponent. It'll make your opponent play differently because they can't just go all in with a Vanguard swing and they have an important rear guard. Or if they get a critical trigger, you can put that unit to rest while their Vanguard is swinging. V Lilithorchis, just a top 5 searcher, helps you try and grab Dark Phase or Rorowa, even High Class Moth because it counts as grade 3 in deck. This helps you dig deep for your important cards. The 1G Dorcas is to help me get Dark Phase to hand quicker, especially if I'm going first. Yeah, it's a one of, but it's a guaranteed grab. So you can reveal Rorowa, Heel Guardians, or the grade 3 Regalia Doll in order to grab Dark Phase. And then you have the Elementaria, which is almost a staple in every premium deck because it's a free PG as long as they have triple drive, but it also gets around any and all form of guard restrict in the game. Other than that, that's really it for the grade 1s. Let's head on over to the grade 2s. For my grade 2s, I'm running 3 Sweet Cocktail, 4 Candelarias, 2 Elianas, and 2 Tidalines. Cocktail is great for offense and defense. If your opponent has no standing units, when she attacks a grade 2 or greater Vanguard, Soul Blast 1, you draw a card, and you give 5k to your front row. Works on defense too, on the Guardian Circle, but if your opponent has a stand unit, they can choose to kill that off, and if they do, you don't get to draw or give 5k to your front row, but it interrupts your opponent's potential turn. With Candelaria, at the end of your turn, you retire her and you spawn 2 tokens. That's the only reason why she's in the deck. Helps spawn tokens. Eliana, when placed on rearguard circle from hand, counterblast 1, soul blast 1, and call a grade 2 or less from drop zone. If you persona roll this turn, you soul blast 1, Tideline, and 1 other unit gets 10,000 power. So helps push out bigger numbers, and that's just really it. He's just a good powerhouse for the deck, especially if you're going for like a potential kill turn. Other than that, that's it for the grade 2s. Let's hop on over to grade 3s. So for my grade 3s, I have 4 Rorowas, 2 Dark Face, 2 Full Blown Dragons, 4 Heel Guardians, and 1 Doll. Rorowa being the main unit of the deck is why he's at 4 and why I enjoy this deck so much. If you're going first, you can realistically go into Rorowa or Dark Phase. It really doesn't matter because you'll never get a gift with this deck. You can ride Rorowa first if you don't see Dark Phase and proceed to just play the deck as is. And using Full Blown Dragon and Burrow Mushroom, you can build your soul up for mid to late game Dark Phase ride and have a good chunk amount of soul if you don't burn through it. And then Rorowa's skill is Soul Blast 1, spawn up to 3 tokens. So you can easily get a good rush when you ride grade 3 first. His second skill, when he is attacked, retire 1 or more tokens on your set of field, and he gets 5,000 power for every token you retired, which came up a lot because my opponent would attack for like 17. I kill off 1 token. 18. I kill off 2 tokens, which helps preserve my hand. So very great for defense as well. Darkface, again, if you go first, fantastic. If you don't see Darkface, you're still fine with the Rorowa play, because Darkface will just get your 2 protect markers. Darkface, when you stride on top of him, counterblast 1, choose up to 2 of your opponent's rear guards, force rest, stun them, and give them the red text box, where at the end of turn, if they are still rested, your opponent draws a card. So if your opponent is unable to remove those 2 rear guards, you will get to draw an additional card for each one that's still there. Then, Darkface's GB2 skill. When your opponent calls a rear guard, Soul Blast 2 and rest that unit. Even if that unit has resist, it will still be rested because Darkface's GB2 skill does not target, it just rests. Turn player will always have priority. So if those units have a skill to rest themselves when they are placed, they will proc first before Darkface will. Full-blown dragon. At the end of your turn, if you have Vanguard with Glitter, move into Soul and spawn 2 tokens. So that's how you get some more Soul base and how you keep on getting your tokens. And obviously it won't work with Darkface because he doesn't have Glitter, so it's more so once you're on Rorowa Vanguard. I run 4 Heal Guardians just because it's a grade 3. I can use it for Stride, help with the Superior Stride for Darkface. And it's just good to keep you alive on the defensive play as well. Then you have Forbidden Doll, or Forbidal, whatever you want to call it. You can only play it once per game. So when you play a Regalia piece, you can grab 2 grade 3s with different names from deck or drop and call them through Rigor Circle. So you can call Darkface and Full-Blown, Darkface or Moth, because Moth is still a grade 3 in deck, or Full-Blown and Moth. Getting out Moth is very great with the order card because it's just giving you a free counter charger right there and then on the spot. You get Full-Blown out of drop, do your turn. At the end of turn, he will go into Soul and spawn you your tokens. Other than that, that's it for the grade 3s. Let's head on over to the strides. For my G-Zone, I run 2 Jaggy Devil, 3 Gordoras, 2 Malajantas, 2 Overwhelms, 1 Cyclone, 1 Messiah, 2 Crew Evils, 1 Featherwall, 1 Grisefort, 1 Relish Lady. I know the first thing you're thinking of, only 3 Gordoras, why not 4? Because she's mandatory. The issue is that my G-Zone is really tight. I dropped Malajantas to 1 of the pass, but missing out on the second Malajantas just hurt a lot. And then especially if I have no counterblast, it's nice to stride the Malajantas to get a potential counter charge back or minus them by 10 and still keep up the aggression. Overwhelm at 2 is still good because it's just drawing potential crit and drive, and it gives your board a big power buff depending on the number of damage they have face down. Because this is a token based deck, I need a Cyclone, so that's also why there's not a 4th Gordora. Cyclone's really good to help keep my numbers up with the tokens. And then you have Messiah, who's mandatory and premium. Then you have Jaggy Devil because you have Darkface, you're forced to eat up 2 spots in your G-Zone. So that's kind of why. Other than that, that's it for the G-Zone. Let's see if I can show off some plays that can do. So one thing I like to do with this deck, especially if I'm going first with Darkface, ride Darkface, use Sweet Cocktail skill to cradle a rear guard if they have one. And because Superior Striding is an act and not right away, you can set up your board. So what I like to do is I like to use a Mushroom to spawn 2 tokens, and then call it Darkface crits. This only works if your opponent's Vanguard is 9,000 power. If it's 10k, this little rush doesn't really work that well. Then you just stride into Jaggy Devil, counterblast 1, stun 2 rear guards, or 1 or 0. If they have none, you don't gotta worry about that. Then you just attack your opponent's grade 2 Vanguard with 9/9. Then you attack with your Vanguard using both scissors skills to draw 2 cards. And then you do your triple drive. And now, because you did all of that, you will have 6 cards in your Soul, which will give you 3 rest of 3 units that your opponents call. So that's one thing I like to do with the deck if I'm going first with Darkface. Now let's say you're going first and you ride Rorowa instead. You can ride Rorowa. You can Soul Blast 1. Spawn yourself 3 tokens. Use Doll. To get yourself a Full-Blown and a high-class Moth. And then you're still good. You just do your attacks going 10, 21, do your drive checks. And then you attack for 18. Then at the end of the turn, you could just spawn yourself 1 token, so you keep your moth on the board for the rest of the game. Unless you hit a retire deck. Now you have free 20k shield value on the board. If your opponent wants to get rid of those 2 front row tokens, they have to attack them. So that they attack you for 17, you kill off a token, you go to 18. They attack for 18, kill off 2 tokens, go to 23. Saves you so much advantage. So here's something that I like to do a lot. You can Persona Ride, draw yourself a card, Stride into Rorowa, do Rorowa's skill, stun your opponent's board, then you can rest High Class Moth to bound deck a normal unit, countercharge 1. So the main deck does not really counterblast except for like 2 cards. And since you have Persona Road, your whole front row gets 10,000 power. So you can call a Brilliant Blister, then you can call Eliana. Eliana's skill, counterblast 1. Soul Blast 1. Then you call out Tideline from your drop zone. Tideline skill, Soul Blast 1. You can give Eliana and Tideline the 10,000 power, so you can hit a little bit harder. You could go 30 tier Vanguard, swing with Rorowa. Call out Full Blown Dragon. Do your triple drive. Then you can divert power to however you want it to be. So you give 10k to Eliana, 10k to the Full Blown. Eliana swinging for 20, 30, 38, 48. Full Blown is swinging 23, 33, 43. Right. 23, 33, 43, 53. Then at the end of turn, you can bounce your blister back to hand. Move Full Blown to Soul. And spawn yourself 2 free tokens, because at the end of turn, because you unstride first before Full Blown can register, and Full Blown will see Rorowa as your Vanguard, run to Soul and give you tokens. So you paid technically no soul for Rorowa's swing. Round 1 was against Chaos Breaker, which I lost. Round 2 is against Vanquisher Sweep Command, which I won by deck out. Round 3 was against Raging Form, which I won. Round 4 was against Dimension Police, which I won. Round 5, I faced Neonectars, which I lost. They rushed me with tokens and all that. I couldn't really withstand that. I did Rorowa them once, but I was unable to get off of Dark Face to get into Rorowa to withstand their offensive turn with restand their 2 rearguards and all that. Round 6, I faced Dominate. I lost that because I had to G-assist for a grade 3 in back-to-back turns, but the game was already over at that point. Round 7 was against Dimension Police, which I won that as well.